What's happening, everyone? Hope you are doing well. You're with Noor here, and welcome back to another client interview. Today, I'm joined by yet another one of our amazing clients who has done extremely well with our program in just under 4 months. His name is Patrick, and he's absolutely smashed it. And today, we're going to be going over his story. So, Patrick, obviously, me and you know each other from the program, of course, and we just spoke before we started recording. But for the people watching this right now, why don't you introduce who you are, who you serve, and the transformation you deliver to your clients?
Absolutely. So, my name's Patrick. I do email marketing for health and wellness coaches, specifically online health and wellness coaches. And so, I'm usually looking for people that have a large Instagram following, 100,000 plus. And usually, the problem they're having is, they have the followers, they have the views, but they're not converting a ton of those views into customers and into sales of their program. And so, the way I look at it is like, they have 100,000 followers, and maybe the top 1% are going and buying their stuff, but there's a lot more people that enjoy their content, and they probably would buy from them if they had a little more information. And so I help those people take the top 10% of their audience, get them into an email list, warm them up with some more information, and then use the email list to nurture people into their product. So I offer a revenue guarantee for everybody. I bring them at least 5 clients per month. And when I'm working with high ticket coaches, that's usually anywhere from 10 to $20,000 plus, which gives me a lot of room to charge for my services,
Yeah,
knowing I'm bringing in some big bucks for them. So you asked about
yeah.
me, the transformation I deliver. I feel like I missed a question.
Yeah, no, you covered it. You covered it. It's
Was it?
basically you, the clients you serve, and the transformation you deliver to the client. So yeah, fantastic stuff, man. And just to paint a picture in the people's mind here, where was your business at from a monthly revenue standpoint, before joining the program compared to where it is right now?
Yeah, so I was actually working for another marketing agency when I started the program. And as an entrepreneurial guy, I really wanted to get out of that and start my own thing. And so I had kind of built the skill set while working for this other agency. And I didn't
Nice.
like that my income was capped. I didn't love the projects that I was working on. And I just love also designing the business itself, like how we deliver the service. And so I had taken on one client on the side of the marketing agency just to like, again, build a few SOPs around me delivering the service myself, onboarding them, getting the information I need to get the service up started. So that was like a in my own agency, I think I was at like $2,000 of monthly revenue before I started, and that was like a friend, so it doesn't even really count as much. Like, yeah, I was making some money from it, but it was just like a friend that was like, yeah, I could use some help with emails. I'm down to give it a shot. And so I basically decided to like once I got that going, and once we started delivering results for her, I was like, okay, I'm willing to bet on myself. I know I'm good at this. I'm
Nice.
gonna like I think I got one of Charlie's ads, and I had heard a lot of really good things about Charlie, and it turned out to be exactly what I was looking for. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna quit the job at the marketing agency, and I'm just gonna put myself in a position where I need to build this thing. Like it's not like a nice thing that I can do when there's time. It's like I like putting myself in a back against the wall position where I need it. I need to get some clients to survive, not just for some like extra fun money. So I don't know. I'm weird like that. I wanted to put myself in that position, and so to answer your question, pretty much had nothing, gave myself less than nothing, put myself in the back against the wall position, and then I think that's really what contributed to the success in the program because I had a level of like urgency to implement the
Yeah,
info.
for sure. And where's the monthly revenue at right now?
So we started at $2,000 about just over 100 days ago, and now we're at 15,000 US dollars monthly, which is a great feeling. The 2,000 was also Canadian dollars. I'm a
Yeah.
Canadian, so it's like 1,500 to 15,000. Pretty solid
Yeah.
upgrade.
Yeah, big time, big time. Amazing stuff, Patrick. And yeah, for people watching, he's part of that Silent Shark coalition because on school he's only made 3 posts. The third one being the win. I'm like, oh, Patrick, where have you been? Like, we didn't hear from you until now. So yeah, fantastic stuff, man. So Patrick, talk to me about um essentially where things were before the program in terms of how you approached things. So you're obviously working in your marketing agency. You didn't like the projects you were on. You obviously had a passion for what you do and you were good at what you do. Um, and you worked with, your friend for that one time. Did you try any other methods in terms of like trying to get more clients, or was it a matter of just working with that one friend and just jumping straight to us?
Yeah, so it was I was creating content. I always love just, posting updates, building in public is something that I've been
Nice.
doing for the past like
Yep.
2 years. So I had a lot of people that were just aware of what I was up to, would ask questions from time to time. So I had a couple like warm leads from that. But at the same time, it's like I really wanted to go out and hand select the clients that I wanted to work with. And so a lot of the people that were coming to me were in industries that it's just like I wasn't necessarily curious about. As a writer, my skill is like 10x when I actually care about the service that I'm helping to deliver and get into the world. Like when my curiosity is aligned with the project, it's like the writing comes naturally. And so
Yeah.
I was going in what EasyGrow was perfect for was giving me systems to actually go out and hand select people that I wanted to work with and have the tools to like get in front of them, get on calls with them, and not just kind of be subject to whoever was coming in inbound, right? And
Yep.
so that was a huge advantage of the program. So to describe the before and after, as you asked, like before, I was just kind of like getting whatever opportunities came to me. And after EasyGrow, I had the tools to go out and seek the opportunities that I wanted. And my client stack now, like the $15,000 is great. What's even better is like I love every single one of the clients that I'm working
Yes.
with. Like they're super interesting projects that genuinely like have me fired up. Like I'm working the typical like 12-hour days right now to dial in the service delivery, but I love it, dude. Like I have no issue. I don't feel burned from that at all. It's like I'm actually wanting to work more and going above what I probably need to do just because it's like I want to see these projects win. I care about them.
Yeah, and that's really well said, man. Because and it'd be great to get your perspective on this as well, Patrick. Because when you're building in public, which is fantastic, you'll naturally get probably some inbound inquiries on, yeah, hey, Patrick, can you help with this? Can you help with that? And you're kind of taking them on board as a necessity. It doesn't. It's not the fire in your belly that you just described, where you're like, man, I'm so passionate about this, and when you're taking them on board, it's just another sort of like paycheck just to keep the bills afloat. Whereas when you actually shifted to taking control of your acquisition system, where inbound's nice, but when you actually reach out to people yourself, you've seen it yourself, Patrick, you are picking who you want to work with from the very first email that you send out to get a call. Like they've been filtered, targeted, you've built the avatar and whatnot. And then that leads to you actually working with clients that you actually want to work with.
Exactly. Like I actually did a slightly offbeat system that was taught in Easy Grow that I just kind of like perfected from what I wanted to do. And I
Nice.
found all of my leads because I'm going for like large content creators. The similar account feature on Instagram worked really, really well for me
Yeah.
because they have such a big following that like they've really showed the algorithm what they talk about. And so I was able to go show me accounts like
It's
this
a cheat code. It's a
cheat
cheat
code, man.
code.
And I just had a VA, like I started with a list of like 10 accounts. I'm like, these are clients that I want to work with. Go and like I didn't see it as the highest point of leverage for me to go through and click on
Yeah.
each one. I gave her a very clear picture of like, here are the clients that we do want to work with, and here are some criteria to know if they're a lead or if they're not a lead. And then she just went through and like opened up every single suggested account, cross-referenced it with the SOP I gave her, and like we did 50 to 100 emails per day, all manually sourced leads that were
Yeah.
like matching the exact profile that we wanted. So we were able to do pretty solid volume. I know you can obviously go a lot better than that, but it was super targeted reach out,
Yeah.
which also allowed me to like in the email, like for a like mass outreach email, I was able to say like, "Hey, I know you're a big content creator in the health and wellness space."
Exactly. Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, wait, yeah, you're right. Like this isn't just some generic email."
Yeah. That Instagram suggestion, like I don't know if you noticed, but I lit up as soon as you mentioned that because I know what you were gonna say straight after. It's so good. Like I used it myself when I was running my agency for ecom, and it's like you find one good brand and you press that little button. you're in dreamland. And I always see in the school community where I'm sure you've seen it as well, where it's like we've got so many different methods you can use with like software and whatnot. And I'm always trying to tell people because I'm naturally biased. Forget this stuff.
Yeah.
Shout out to Selway. He shared all the goods, but go to Instagram suggestions. I promise you. Just click on that
100%.
magical
You find
button
one
and you
good
see
one, and then
it.
it's just like a never-ending rabbit hole that you can go
Yeah.
down. More clients just like that.
Yeah. So I want to touch on like your approach, Patrick, because like you've seen in the program where we teach a combination of not just volume but high quality volume. And what people typically fall into the trap of doing, right, is they assume that they can just dump like 10,000 emails into an email blast, send it out with the same copy, and then, wonder why they didn't get any meetings or sales. So you've obviously been through the program and you see that we do value volume, but we also value quality at the same time. How have you seen that affect your results when you actually, use the systems? Because on your end, it sounds like you've prioritized quality like very highly, not just volume.
Yeah, so two little like tactical nuggets that I can give. So one was just like lead quality, like making sure like I had a very clear vision. And this was something EasyGrow really helped with was like I wanted at first I was really unsure whether I wanted to go with like info product coaches or e-commerce brands in the health and wellness space. And if I was doing this on my own, I would have done both of them. But Charlie's like analogy of like operational drag and one
Yep.
times one times one times one versus two times two and like how much extra effort it is exponentially to try to serve two niches at the same time. I put ecom aside. I went all in on the info products. And so this really allowed me, like I just mentioned, to have like a really like the opening of my Loom video was like, hey, I'm reaching out because like I see that you're a content creator in the health and wellness space with a high ticket offer. And that's exactly who we help. And so they're like, oh, like this email was designed for me. This isn't a mass reach out, right? So that was super helpful. One like super sneaky thing that I found really worked was as you know, we set up like the cold email accounts. Like I was doing
Yep.
Terminator Looms, right? And so I had a mix of like male avatar sending accounts and like female sending accounts, right? And so when I'm going and doing my outreach, I would try to pair up, like send
Nice.
guys a message from a guy and girls a message from a
Yep.
girl, right? And so what that allowed me to do is in my follow-up messages, I'm really casual in the way that I speak. I try like that's a whole kind of, other rabbit hole we can go down. Like in my copywriting, I'm trying to like text you like a friend. I'm not trying to sound like I'm selling you. I think it builds sales
Yeah.
resistance and people just reject that, right? So in my follow-up, I would be like, because I'm messaging guy to guy, I'd be like, hey brother, like, did you
Yep.
see that last message I sent? Or if it was girl to girl, it'd be like, hey girl, I know you probably hate getting these messages,
Yeah.
but like just want to like I genuinely think I can help you. Like, here's a little more info, right? And so by like I think that small touch, even though it was still an automated, like mass scale reach out,
Yep.
that little touch made it seem that much more personal. And I noticed like my when I made that adjustment in my follow-ups to be able to say, hey brother, instead of hey Rick, like because that's what everybody
Yeah.
says, it was a huge
Exactly.
differentiator.
Yeah, it's those subtle like nuances, Patrick, that make all the difference. Where, we often get clients that say, "What's the magic script? What's the magic words?" and all these things. And it's like, the truth is that loads of different scripts work, and there's no one thing that beats all. Sometimes it's just a minor tweaks. Like you can have the exact same script, but if you do what Patrick just done there by simply saying, "Hey, brother," just reaching out, you immediately separate yourself from a lot of people who are just trying to be this robotic. Oh, hey, Mr. Mazurik, I saw you run the email agency, and it's just like you're reading it like, man, I read like 20 of these every day. And then all of a sudden you see one guy that's reaching out on a more personal level. That just breaks a barrier in your mind where like, oh, I'm actually going to respond to this guy. This is new. Like he's speaking to me as if I'm a friend, and that's pretty much what you've seen, I'm assuming.
Totally. And dude, the best part about it too is it's a natural selection mechanism too for selecting chill clients. right?
Yeah. Yes.
Like I have like a great relationship with all of my clients now because they're the kind of people that respond to messages
Yes.
like that and they appreciate the casual tone of communicating, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like anybody that is mad that I communicated in such a like a informal manner because they want to be addressed as sir, madam. It's like, hey, good. I don't want to work with you. So it like not only got a higher response rate, but an even higher response rate with the people that I wanted to work with,
Yeah.
right?
Amazing, man.
And I think
Is
it really comes back like one of my favorite like at first I was a little annoyed by how much Charlie was recommending to watch Acquisition Genesis.
Yeah.
And then I watched Acquisition Genesis and I'm like, okay, like there's so much gold in here.
Yeah.
And then I loved his idea of like uh every like piece of copy is kind of like a species that you're sending into the wild, right? And so it's
Yeah.
got certain traits. And so like you said, I could say the same message, but I can deliver it in like a formal tone or an informal tone or like a casual or like whatever, right? And so it's like it has the same like it's the same species just with a different expression almost. And so just that like mindset of looking at things I found really helpful where it's I like I want the traits of my message to be casual. I want them to be yeah, I feel like I'm just kind of like
Yeah.
repeating what I said before, but it's like it did a really good
No, it's golden.
just some of the I guess what the point of what I'm saying there is like Charlie really helped instill a mindset that helped me have the confidence to make my own like innovations to the
Yes.
baseline script,
Yeah.
right? Because like I understood the broader um like the broader strategy that we're going
Yeah.
after.
And that's a great point you make, Patrick, because that's where I was going to head next. Like you've obviously been through Acquisition Genesis, and it's so funny that you were saying, "Man, I feel annoyed by how many times Charlie sent me to watch this," but because I've interviewed so many clients and I've spoken with clients as a group, where it's like, "No, do I need to watch these 3 hour videos and 2 hour videos?" I'm like, "Yes, trust me, nothing else is going to make sense. Watch it." And they always say the same things, like, "You're right." Like that set me up for success. So one of the things I want to touch on, Patrick, is you've been through Acquisition Genesis, and I'm sure you'll agree here. Actually, I know you'll agree based on what you've told me. It kind of reaffirms the point in the program where, look, we're going to give you the strategies, scripts, frameworks, but Acquisition Genesis is what teaches you to make it your own, and you have that
Mhm.
mindset to be script proof. Like if something changes, it's not the end of the world. Like if, for example, a system changes, guess what? That's fine because you can amend it to best suit your situation. And that's exactly what you've done from the sound of things, where it's like, right, you've gone for acquisition genesis, you obviously got DM source with Terminator Loom, but then you notice some small tweaks where it's like, well, actually, I can tweak this script to say, hey girl, just messaging you, blah, blah, blah. I can set an account up to be a girl to resonate more with girls. I can reach out to guys to say, hey brother, I can approach it this way because I want to work with it. Just for people watching, we didn't teach Patrick to do this. What we did teach him was to, again, have the mindset to be innovative with the core framework. So, Patrick, I'd love for you to elaborate on that because I really do find it really invaluable of how you've basically set up your own way of doing things with what you've been given.
Absolutely. So can you clarify what you'd like me to focus on in
Yeah,
particular?
just essentially how you were able to how acquisition genesis helped you think for yourself basically
Yeah.
when it came to making these small tweaks that made a big difference.
Absolutely. I mean, what comes to mind is like the most valuable thing that I learned in Acquisition Genesis was the importance of like regret allowing the regression to the mean, right? And
Hmm.
so this was like, and so like if I'm being like really real, I would like I feel like Acquisition Genesis for me could have been a little bit shorter,
Yeah,
right? Like if I it's a 9.5 out of 10 and if you wanted to take it to a 10, like maybe a little
cut
bit
in
of
half.
adaptation could have helped, but it was totally worth it because it was like there were these like it would go through periods where I'm like, okay, I kind of know that, I understand that, like that's clear, but then there would be revelations that happen where I'm like, oh man, that's a huge gap in my understanding that has now completely been filled, one of which being like regression to the mean, which is like just you like you need to do enough volume to even like be able to tell if your script is working or not. You can't send 20 messages. You can't even
Oh yeah.
send 100 messages. And if they all fail, well, you could also flip a coin 100 times and it could be heads 100 times. If you need to do enough volume to even know whether or not you can rely on that data or not. And so that
Yeah.
really helped me where it's like I'm not even like it's really what I would have done without acquisition genesis is like sent a couple outreaches, looked at the message, like looked at the response rates, and oh, it's been a day and nobody's replied. Okay, I need to change something. And then it's been another day and nobody replies. Okay, I need to change something. And now I'm like moving sideways, right? And I don't actually know what works. This is how you build a system where you actually do enough volume to see, like, okay, you know what? I tried 300 messages and they didn't work. And that's great because now I know that that message doesn't work and I have reliable data to suggest that. The second best thing that I got in acquisition genesis was the metrics of like how the funnel should be performing, right? And so this might have actually been from Terminator Looms, but it was still
Mhm.
such a breakthrough to know like, okay, if you send 300 messages, you should have this kind of, positive reply rate. You should have this amount of a book like sorry, this loom view rate, this reply rate, this booking rate. And that way, okay, I send 300 looms, look at the data. Where's the bottleneck? Okay, the bottleneck's here. Let me make one adaptation to this part of the funnel, see
That's
if this
it.
works, and figure it out. So that overall framework is something I've taught to so many of my clients too, where it's like you I feel like you can take that understanding and apply that to any part of your business and just be like, okay, we need to look at this as an experiment. We need reliable data to make this decision. So let's not change anything in our funnel until we've got enough data to know if it's working and what's going wrong. So that was one of the revelations that just completely changed the way that I look at business in general, and stick on the path longer than I would have in my like shiny object or like
Yeah.
perfectionist brain of like, oh, it's not working instantly. I need to change it.
Yeah, and it's funny because like even when things aren't working, Patrick, with the knowledge you have from going for acquisition genesis, you're still in full control because you know that, oh, actually, this is just this data set. Like I need more volume, then I can tweak things, and it's just a total state of calm and control throughout. Whereas if things aren't working and you don't know, you don't have the data in mind and stuff like this, you'll do what you said was like, oh, I need to change this, that. It's like, no, that's a sure way to failure, man. So yeah, killer stuff, killer stuff. Talk to me about day one of the program, Patrick. Let's walk back. I think it's like just under 120 days now. You joined the program. Walk me through what you did specifically to be in the position you are in today, because it's like you set things up really quickly to get to 15K per month in under 4 months. So yeah, talk to me, man.
Yeah, so I just devoured Acquisition Genesis. Like
Yep.
I really took the advice that like you need to watch this first before you can do anything else. And so I at the time was still like I agreed to do another month with my marketing agency so that I wasn't leaving them high and dry. It also gave me an extra month of income to
Nice.
balance things out, knowing that I was probably going to go through a gap period before like after income stops from marketing agency and before it starts with my new business. And so I'm like, I want to like move as fast as possible. And so if I need to watch Acquisition Genesis first, I'm gonna like devour this content. And so like I was watching minimum 3 hours per day. Usually trying to get through like 6 hours per day. And so it was like 6 hours of client work and then 6 hours of acquisition genesis and just get through it as quickly as possible and then like get my offer out to for review as soon as possible as well. I think you actually reviewed my offer, which
Yep.
was awesome, right? And so took my time, just like I would say I took like a little bit longer than like as somebody that was trying to move quickly, I did take my time at the like niche decision phase,
Hmm.
knowing the power of simplicity and knowing that like if I just really have one niche that I am happy with and I know that I can serve and I don't need to like get distracted, I think that ultimately saved me so much time down the line because I was so clear on who I was reaching. It was so
Yep.
easy to find them. It was so easy to reach out to them. So that was like one decision that because I didn't rush that and I really got clear on who I wanted to serve, and how I serve them, that saved me so much time down the line. So I think that was
Yeah.
really, really key. And then I basically decided that I wanted to do Terminator looms. I figured that was going to be the best strategy for me. And so it's like a 2 week setup process for that. I got all the accounts warmed up. While they were warming up, I had to wait 2 weeks for that to happen. So I used that 2 weeks to do some Instagram DMs. Like I learned DM sorcery and just like figured at the very worst case scenario, if I go and reach out to these same leads over email, they may just recognize that I reached
Yep.
out to them on Instagram as well, and I just have like a slightly increased chance of getting to them. Um, I found DM sorcery was challenging for my niche just with them being massive content creators that get
Hmm.
inundated with, probably hundreds, if not thousands of DMs per day. It's like me trying to slide in there was like really challenging to
Yep.
stand out, especially if I'm doing Trojan horse and it's a voice note and it's like you
It's
can't
just
even
like a long-winded when they've got a million other requests. Yeah, yeah.
exactly. So figured that the Terminator looms would be my best strategy. And again, I embraced the mindset that this probably won't work the first time around. Like, I just want to get the data to see where my problem is. Like, is the problem with my loom video? Is the problem with my body copy? Like, where is the problem? Like, I'm totally ready to adapt this. I was really lucky that like luck mixed with a bit of like skill that I'm good at copywriting that like I found a combination that was within KPI right out of the gates.
Nice.
And so yeah, like my first 100 or my first like 1,000 looms had like a 2% appointment booking rate. And so that got me all the appointments that I needed to get my 6 clients. So
Yeah.
that's pretty much how it happened. And like I said, like answering your question from before on the importance of acquisition genesis and answering your question about like why I was able to succeed so quickly. I think it's because I just took that extra couple
Yep.
days when I really wanted to like decide on my niche and like get moving. I'm like, let me make sure that this is a decision that because I know once I make this decision, it's all in and there's no turning back. There is turning back, but I have to really test a lot before I try to change my niche. So it's like, let me make sure I'm happy with this decision. Let me make sure I'm super clear on who I'm helping and how I help them because the offer ultimately, like I just had a great offer. Everybody that I reached out to, the amount of people I reached out to that were like, I never reply to emails, but this was just so well done that like I had to reply was so like that gave me that's probably the biggest like indicator that you guys were showing some really good strategies is that like so many people do cold outreach and the way that I was taught to do cold outreach and the way that I did it was like people were really receptive to it.
Hmm.
People that get probably more emails next to like high level
A
CEOs, I would
lot.
say that these
Yeah.
influencers get probably the next most
Loads.
number of
Yeah.
emails, right?
Yeah.
And so the fact that I was able to get attention within such a crowded inbox was like
Yeah.
a testament to what you guys showed me and my ability to just like
Yeah.
really pinpoint who I was talking to and how I was able to help them.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely love that, Patrick, and especially love what you mentioned there with you took a bit more time than not necessary, but a bit more time than others because you yourself you just wanted to make sure you're absolutely making the right decision on the niche offer and whatnot. And it's a common thing with clients where it's like sometimes you just want to rush things and just go beyond acquisition genesis and offer and just go straight to outbound. But I'm sure you can attest to this. Um, like the success that you have, it comes from the foundations that you set long before you touch those email terminator looms. Like 80% of the, and I can see from your reaction, 80% of the success came in that boring work of not just going for acquisition genesis, but doing that offer doc. Well, then on top of doing that offer doc, giving it a couple of more days to really make sure, is this the one for me? That's where the success came from, not just the email strategy, because yeah, that was major, but that's like what I try to tell clients where it's like, this is where your success is going to be made.
Dude, like that's actually that really put it into perspective because like I went through some of the win pages and it was one of the reasons that I joined EasyGrow in the first place was just like I saw some of like so many case studies, right? Of
Yeah.
like successful people. And like I from like my reference, I'm one of the faster people to get to the 15K
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
milestone. Like I
100%.
would say that my results were pretty quick. And that was like I did it in 100 days. And I would say I think it took me like over a month to officially work through acquisition genesis, get my offer like dialed in and like happy with it, and like get started with setting up the Terminator looms. And I think it was probably 6 weeks before I officially started sending Terminator looms. And so yeah, it was 6 weeks. I remember from the math. It was like I joined
Nice.
October 20th, and then like early December is when I started sending the looms.
There you
So
go.
a very long period of those, like literally half of that time was spent just getting the strategy right. And then because I spent the extra time understanding acquisition genesis, nailing the offer, by the time that I actually started reaching out to clients, I had success instantly. Like it was like also in that 110 days or whatever, factor in that Christmas was like
Yeah. Yeah.
one of
You
those
told me.
days. I think I didn't even send emails for like, yeah, 10 days around Christmas. So it's actually like between the time that I started sending Terminator looms, which was like early December, and the time that I got all my clients was which was like mid-January, it was less than a month than it took me to like actually go from that $1,500 to $15,000,
Yeah.
right? So actually, the
Exactly.
month that it took me was just a month and a half of setup to get there.
Yeah. And it just goes to show that the success lays in the foundations, and the foundations is the extremely unsexy part of going
Yeah.
through a ton of videos, doing the docs, asking me a question with the offer audit, then implementing the feedback, then sitting with yourself extra few days to make sure there's no doubts in your mind. And it can almost feel like at that moment in time you're not moving forward, but it's cause and effect. What you have now is a result of that. And it's super funny because I see people, other clients who have had success, and I'm like, you could have had that success if you spent a bit more time on the foundational side of things, because you're telling me you had to readjust as you went along. So you got to the success eventually, but if you spent more time here, it would have been a lot quicker. So yeah, that's fantastic to see, man. It just goes to show the importance of the foundational work. So killer stuff. Patrick, talk to me about what you love in particular about the program. I know you spoke highly of Acquisition Genesis, how it sort of teaches you how to approach the business, how to think for yourself, come up with your own sort of like nuances where applicable. In the program, we've obviously got tons of different modules from acquisition, sales, mindset. We've also got the group support and coaching calls. Is there anything in particular that you really love about it, or is there just everything bunched up into one?
Yeah, I think the main thing that was the driver for me was it was like the dual pronged instruction of like here are the KPIs that you can expect at
Yep.
each stage of the funnel. Because if I didn't have that guidance, I'd be going in blind and I
Yes.
wouldn't know like if I needed to change anything. Like what should I actually expect? I send 100 emails. Like is 2 a good reply rate? Like should I adjust and go for 10? So having the benchmark that allowed me to settle my mind and be like, okay, things are going well, like relative to the benchmarks that they gave me. And then so it was that the instruction to do enough volume through that system to actually rely on the data. And then from there, there's just like so many resources in EasyGrow. Like if your problems with your body copy, like there's tons of resources to help you update the body copy. Issue with the Loom video, like you like I mentioned in my testimonial, it's like I think I got on 3 or 4 of the like coaching calls. I went through like less than 10% of the resources and I still got insane value from the program because it's like everything was there for me to figure out on my own.
Yep.
And then if I ever wanted to run something by somebody, I could throw my Loom video into the community or to one of the coaches and be like, hey, here's my data. I know that this is the problem. Can you tell me, like, to me, this looks pretty good, but like, what do you think is
Yeah.
going wrong with this Loom video, right? And so the data to know if the system was broken, where it was broken. Okay, if it's broken there, here's the way that you can fix it. You can do this yourself, and if you really want to bounce this off somebody, you have the guidance to do that, right?
Yeah.
And so that was what I found to be most helpful personally. And so yeah, it was really there's like an analogy looming in my mind. It's close, but like but I can't quite put my finger on it, but it was just like so stupidly easy to follow. Like,
Yeah.
here are the numbers. If you're not hitting these numbers, here's how to fix it.
Yeah.
Boom. And so that's
That's it.
exactly what I did. And now I can use those numbers henceforth in my business. Like whenever I'm
Yeah.
doing acquisition, where's the and I do this with all my clients too now. It's like, where's the bottleneck? Like, and before we address which, like, is it reach? Is it conversion? Is it we're not getting enough money per client? We just need enough data through the system to know if we can actually rely on this. If we can't, we just need to run more volume through the system. We need to do more outreach. We need more traffic to the landing page before we can even know if we need to change anything.
Yeah. Yeah, well said, man. And it's like with each sort of strategy, there's a troubleshooting doc, and you put it perfectly. If for example there you can't troubleshoot it yourself with the resource given, guess what? You can go to the group with the loom with the question. Either myself or Will or someone else can chip in. If that's not enough and you require a more detailed conversation, guess what? Coaching calls there if absolutely needed, and that's always available to you. And you're great proof of that because, like you just said there, you only had to join free or something, and you just disappeared.
Yeah, no, it was funny because I think Hannah was the one that signed me up, and she knew that I was in like a back against the wall situation when I joined, and so it was kind of, and then I just went ghost. Like I
Yeah.
went into like I'm just gonna figure this out mode, and again, I got support when I needed support, but
Yeah.
the resources themselves were all the support that I needed. It just gave me the roadmap,
Yeah.
right? I'm a hard worker. I have work ethic. I knew like this just gave me the roadmap of like, here's where to channel your effort and here's what to focus on. And so that just gave me the fast track of like, okay, these guys have done this a million times. I'm just going to do what they did. And because of Acquisition Genesis, I do have the freedom to go off script where I
Yep.
feel I would like to go off script and boom, hit the jackpot right away. And then I sent Hannah a text message. I'm like, hey, I know you were probably worried about me because I basically haven't talked to you since I joined. I
Yeah.
just hit 15K. We're all good.
Yeah, it's always funny, man, because it's like clients like yourself. I've had this with a couple of other clients I've interviewed. I had this with a client called Ross, actually. Shout out to Ross. He was leaving us because his time was up in the program, and he was just saying, "Hey, enjoyed the program, blah blah." And I asked him, "Oh, hey, Ross, like, great to hear. How was your experience of the program?" Because he did not post anything. He's like, "Oh yeah, no, really appreciate the time. I actually scaled to 35K a month. Like, thanks for this." And I'm like, Ross, you didn't post anything. Like, how did you do that? But it comes back to what you just said there. It's like, as he explained it to me and other clients have, he's like, oh, no, to be honest, I didn't really need help. I only asked for help when I actually needed it. And that just reminded me of the resources alone are extremely powerful. And it's the case with you where it's like, yeah, I've got your post here, by the way, for people watching. Patrick has an intro post, then he has an offer audit, which I audited, and that was in November. Then he literally posted 11 days ago, 0 to 15K. And that's when I'm like, oh, where did Patrick come from? So
So
yeah,
the
that's
two
super funny, man.
necessary posts, the intro and the offer audit, ghost mode, and then 15K.
Oh, that's so funny, man. That's so true. The mandatory posts of an intro and an offer audit, and
Oh,
that's
dude,
it. Disappeared.
here's some more data for you. I know we're getting close to time, but this I think is
I
just
all
like
good.
helpful for people to know too. Like if I go to the classroom here, so I completed 100% of acquisition genesis, 27% of outbound systems. Oh yeah, because that was just Terminator looms.
Yep.
Um, and then I completed 10% of sales systems, right? And so 0% of inbound, 0% of paid. Not like I completed, I think in total, this is probably like 5% of the total materials available. Like,
Yeah.
even though I didn't need help because I was consuming the materials, I only consumed a fraction of the materials and was still able to succeed, right? And so there's just so much other gold in there that like I'm going through just because it's like I have access to this and this information is amazing, but like I only needed such a small section of it
Yeah.
to succeed. And so again, I do think that's also an important part of the process. And the reason I was able to do that is because of the clarity that came from like the niche selection phase, where I'm like, okay, I know DMs are not going to work. I know people
Yeah.
are inundated with like emails, so I should probably put like a Loom video or something to stand out. It's like because I knew who my audience was, I knew what I needed to focus on to
Yeah.
get it done.
Killer stuff, man. Killer stuff. Uh, Business to the side, Patrick. I'd love to hear about the mindset side of things on your end. How does version one of you look compared to the version that I'm speaking to right now? Like, what identity shift did you have to make in order to succeed? If you did have to shift your identity, like, did you have any limiting beliefs before joining, even after joining? Like, talk to me.
Yeah, that's a great question because I looked at this because I was documenting a lot of this journey and I helped myself understand this where it's like, okay, to make $1 million a year, $100,000 a month, I need to be the kind of person that makes a
Hmm.
million dollars a year, right? You hear that all the time. I told
Yeah.
myself all the time. And so I interpreted that as like, I just need to do the things that $1 million person does. But then I realized that's only part of the equation because a person is their actions and their thoughts, right?
Yes.
And their beliefs. So it's like if I'm only working on actions, so a person is these three things: thoughts, actions, feelings. If I'm only doing actions, I'm not work like I still have these two things that are not at the $1 million level. So it's like I need to get my feelings and my thoughts up to the $1 million level as well. And so that paradigm shift caused me to start looking into some of the self transcendent stuff as well.
Nice.
Um, and so um, it was a really conscious process for me to rewire my beliefs and just like remind myself that like making money is easy. This doesn't need to be a difficult process. That was probably the main limiting belief that I noticed for myself is like I came and I grew up in a household where money was scarce, where it was like we needed to like evaluate every purchase decision before it was made. And so like that gave me the impression that like people don't like spending
Yep.
money. Then I've just been kind of like reminding myself that that's not true. People love spending money. There's tons of money flow that happens each and every day. And so just opening myself to the mindset that there are people that are willing to pay for the like whatever we're doing always was a really helpful realization. And so that was a big upgrade. I really, really love Charlie's idea of exponential focus. That was something that I was absolutely applying as somebody who tends to be very scatterbrain and very shiny object syndrome, and let's do this and let's do that. And if I was doing this on my own, I'd probably been doing a bit of email and a bit of content and then trying LinkedIn DMs and been all over the place, right? And I really love this idea of exponential focus being that the like you only really get the benefits of focus when you are at like closest to 100% focus. So if you're only 50% focused, you're maybe only getting you're only making like 2% progress. And then at 60% focus, you're making 15% progress. And at a 90% focus, you're making 90%. Like
Yeah.
I don't know if I mapped that perfectly, but watch Charlie's
No, I get
video
what you
on
mean. Yeah.
exponential focus, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And so that just that and then the regression to the mean was just like focus on one thing and and yeah, just lost my train of thought, ironically talking about focus.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say that was another huge
Yeah.
mindset upgrade is like I'm gonna move faster the fewer things that I try to juggle at
Yes.
once,
Yeah.
right?
100%. 100%, man. Killer stuff. Patrick, 12-month goal. Talk to me. You bloody smashed it in less than 4 months. We're at 15K a month. 12 months from today. what you hoping to be at, and how do you hope your overall business to look like from a team standpoint?
Absolutely. So I'll answer it like this because I also really love I think this is in self-transcendence. The nature of aim. Really
Yes, yeah,
helpful
yeah,
thing that I learned was just like the inefficiency of setting timelines on your
yep,
goals. And more like what I have mapped out is like my next three steps, right? And so I know that the next step is for me to automate, and by automate, I don't necessarily mean that ChatGPT has to do it, but I have a systemized way to deliver results for my clients. So I know when I onboard a new client, we do this, then we do this, and then we do this. And here's how you do each step in detail, and being able to pass that off to like basically get myself out of the day-to-day, excuse me, operations of the business is my next step. I have cash flow to sustain me for the next little bit. I have me and a VA, so I pretty much take home the entire 15K that I make. It's like a 90% margin right now. So it's
nice.
like I'm doing well in terms of cash flow. My main focus right now is just to be able to do that predictably. Um, Bring somebody in to do and like first step, produce results for my clients, right? Like they're all hitting their targets every single month. Okay, boom. How am I
Nice.
doing that? Can we do this like in a repeated, systematic way to the extent that I can bring somebody into the business and they can produce those results? I don't need to do it, right? Next step after that is, can we do this with a new batch of clients? Okay. So I have one writer handling our current clients. Let me hire another writer and bring on another batch of clients. And so now instead of six, we have 12, right? Or maybe even 15. Can we continue to produce these results when it's not me doing them and it's not the clients that like we've already kind of got set up and moving? Once that, like now, at that level, I feel like I have the enough evidence to support the hypothesis that these systems produce this result predictably. And I know that any client that we bring into our business, we can get to this result in a reliable amount of time or a predictable amount of time with predictable systems. And so
Yeah,
that at that level, like we were talking about before we even jumped on the call, we know that acquisition is a cakewalk now that we've
yeah, yeah.
perfected these systems. Like I know that I can turn on my Terminator Loom system and fill my calendar with appointments. And so if I were to do that right now, I could take on 100 clients, but can I get results for 100 clients? That is the question mark for me, right? So it's like
Yeah.
deliver results predictably, then delegate it and have somebody else produce the results. Okay, you can do this. It doesn't just need to be me. Now I have a system, and now let's run people through the system.
Yeah.
So in a like those are my next steps. I'm going to move through them as fast as possible by having complete focus on each step and then the next one and then the next one. I'd say that if I could be out of the business and making 50K per month by like within by like October of this next year, so have like two writers within the business, have 12 clients. Um 12 clients would be 30K per month. So yeah, maybe have like the 18 clients. So maybe have like three writers.
Yeah. Nice.
Or yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds like a good,
And you'll
benchmark.
probably up your prices by then, Patrick, with the
Good point.
results that you're getting. So it's like, yeah,
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, that's a good point. So I really, yeah, main goal, let's just say, to have two writers in
yeah,
the business that are serving 5 to 10 clients each. And then I just get to sit in the oversight role where I'm optimizing a system here and there, but I'm not required for the
that's it.
day-to-day operations of the business anymore. I can enjoy myself and
Yeah,
probably do some deep work in the morning, take a couple client calls just to make make sure everything is on track, and be at the point that I'm
yeah,
making 50,000 plus, and also have a lot of free time to enjoy that money, you know?
yeah. Love it. And that actually, like, as we start to wrap up the interview, that was one of my final questions specifically for you. um, on a more personal level, you went from 1.5K, you went from leaving an agency job, ditching that stable income, 1.5K with your friend who needed email marketing. Shout out to your friend for giving you giving you the chance. And you're at 15K per month right now. I know it's been a bit quick, Patrick, but how has life changed? If it has changed, have you, I don't know, I always make this joke with clients. Have you splashed it on the Ferrari? Have you gotten the watches? Have you been traveling the world? Like, talk to me about how life has changed, if it has changed, and how you feel being in the position you are right now.
Yeah, so there's still more work to do. I
Yep.
thought that once I signed the 5 clients, I was gonna instantly go to, sipping margaritas on the beach and life was gonna be breezy. And I've been reminded that it's like I've got the clients, and because I have the revenue guarantees for them, it's like I thought that was gonna be easier than it was. And
Yep.
so I've had to kind of like I enjoyed probably like a week of just like feeling like I was the man and like just not feeling like I was the man, but just like acknowledging what I had just done, which was
Yep.
to go from
Nice.
0 to 15K in such a short period of time. And like I mentioned, sign clients that like I really enjoy working with.
Yep.
Um, and the next step is like make sure like that like build the product now, essentially.
Yep.
And so I don't think I can really rest yet until the product is built and delivering. And that's a really fun problem to have. It's not a fun problem to be like, oh my goodness, I don't even know where my next paycheck is coming from because I don't have clients. It's like I have clients. I know exactly where we have contracts. All I need to do is deliver on my side of the promise. And so it's like that's a fun problem to have. And so I really like that I have complete and singular focus right now. And I love per like what I believe to be a really common thread in this conversation is the amount like how fast I was able to move because I was so focused on such a
Yeah.
particular niche and such a particular offer. It's like to spill the beans on my offer, it's like we really have 3 components. Get people into the email list, right? So what is our opt-in rate? How many people that opt in click the emails and buy something? How many of those people ascend into our next offer? So I have an opt-in rate, a click rate, and a conversion rate. 3 numbers that I need to optimize for. And so it's like, and it really just comes from having a lead magnet and having emails. So
Yep.
it's a very small number of things that I need to focus on. So my whole day, I spend 12 hours a day in deep work, and it's on 2 things. How do we create great lead magnets? How do we write great emails? So I
Yeah.
get good at that pretty freaking quickly.
Yeah.
Right?
That's it. Lean and mean. Lean and mean. But yeah.
Lean and mean
I
as yeah, as lean as it gets. So
yeah.
lifestyle hasn't changed much other than pure enjoyment of my
Yeah.
work and complete clarity on what my next 3 steps are and waking up every day and having the entire day to I need to do 2 things each day to get me to my next goal.
Yeah,
Let's just do those
absolutely
things.
love it. Love it. Yeah, I love asking that question because it's like I'm still on the hunt for a client to go to me. Yeah, I've disappeared to the beach, no, but they always say similar answers to you, where it's like still locked in, still working, which is nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But yeah, that's fantastic stuff, Patrick. And yeah, it's great to see because you spoke about it in this interview and even just before, where you're working at an agency, you're looking for fulfillment, and now, from the way you're speaking, you've got so much fulfillment and passion in your voice, where those 12-hour work days, to be honest, you can correct me if I'm wrong, man, those are optional. Like, you can do,
Yeah,
you don't have to work that much, do you? But they are optional because you love what you do.
exactly, man. They're completely optional and like the amount of times that like my friends just don't get it because none of them have like I have entrepreneurial friends too. Like I have gone and sought them out because like I can't hang around with people who just like don't have big vision
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah,
It just doesn't click for me. I like to just talk about business and like what you're doing each day um to get to that next level. And so even my entrepreneurial friends that love business are like, "Hey Pat, like why don't you take a break? Why don't you come hang out? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, like, dude, this is what I want to be doing.
Yeah,
Like, I go and I hang out with you guys, and it's like, all I can think about is what I want to be building in my business
yeah,
right now. So it's
that's
like,
beautiful.
it's not like I'm missing out on anything. I feel like I'm missing out when I leave the house and when I go try to have fun. It's like, I'm having fun already, man. I
Yeah,
just want to keep doing this.
yeah, that's amazing, man. That's like such a beautiful spot to be in, where it's a choice. And yeah, for people watching, again, that's an optional 12-hour work days, Patrick. Even though to me he's sounding a bit crazy, but I totally get him because it's optional. He loves what he does, and he can easily wind it down if he wanted to. So, killer stuff, Patrick. As we wrap up the interview, two groups of people that are going to watch this. First of which are current clients. Second of which are people that have yet to be a client. Maybe they want to think about it. Maybe they've just come across the program, don't know anything about it. Let's start off with current clients. What would you say to existing clients in the program in terms of your best pieces of advice to succeed?
I would say rip through ex Acquisition Genesis. Like watch that as you are like have a Netflix party each night, but instead of watching Netflix, watch Acquisition Genesis with your notebook. Make it fun. Like I did it out at like coffee shops and stuff to just like make it
Nice.
enjoyable process. But I accepted that like I paid for this program. I trust the process. And if the process means start with Acquisition Genesis, boom, I'm gonna do it. Take a little
Yeah.
extra time at the niche phase to like get it right. And after that, like once you've decided on what you're gonna do and you've decided on one course of action, that was a really big thing. One course of action I set on Terminator looms, and I'm like, I'm gonna keep trying Terminator looms until I figure this out. And I'm gonna run, I'm gonna do enough outreach to actually see whether or not this works. And I'm gonna try stupidly I'm going to do this for a stupidly long period of time before I make the decision to change anything, right?
Yeah.
Try a different strategy, try a different niche. Like it's like, no, I need to really give this a shot before changing anything. And if you do enough iterations in the same, arena, in the same like on the same path, you will figure out something that works. And so that's
Yeah.
like really the biggest advice that I have for for people that are just signing up, but mostly for the people that are running businesses right now is like we love to flinch when painful things happen. We love to something doesn't work right away and you think you need to change action. But like I graphed this and it's on my Instagram if you want to check it. Like if you if you pivot each time you run into a roadblock, let's actually put it this way. If you stay on the same path and you face a challenge, then you figure out how to like overcome that challenge, you keep moving forward and then you hit another challenge and then you keep moving forward and you keep moving forward, right?
Hmm.
But if you hit a challenge and you're like, okay, I'm going to try something new. Well, now you're going back to the beginning and I'm going to try something new. Now I'm going back to the beginning, try something. You're always going to face a roadblock, whatever it is that you're doing. So just stick with something long enough and face roadblocks on the same path instead of like continuously rerouting.
Yeah. Good stuff, man. Killer advice. And to people that have yet to become a client, maybe they already had a call, they want to think about it. Maybe they have yet to even have a call. They just came across an ad. They just want to do their due diligence. Almost as if you're speaking to yourself, Patrick, before you joined almost 4 months ago. What would you say?
I mean, like just look at the amount of case studies and success stories and just how many people have built a successful agency running with these systems and getting this support. Like these guys have so much data on what works and what doesn't. And are continuously updating their systems and like, hey, we just launched this like new email strategy that has this great like appointment booking rate. Like you can try this out. Like they are running their own agency. They are actively coaching hundreds, almost thousands at this point. I think thousands of agency
Yeah.
owners.
Uh,
So like they have so much data on like what works and what doesn't currently, and they're so obsessed with product and like how like actually delivering results for us as the agency owners. Like there's 4 calls every single day that you can hop on and get your advice. They're always rolling out new modules based on where things are at currently. And hey guys, this doesn't work anymore. Like here's the fix. Do this strategy instead. Like it's like, why would you do it yourself when you can just have a roadmap of what's worked and is working for so many other agencies?
Yeah, there you go. Anyone that was just sold by Patrick there, please do let us know and we'll just send him the the commission because that was a hell of a pitch. But
Let's
no, there
go.
you go. Well said, Patrick. Patrick, where can people follow you, man, if they want to keep up to date? I know you said you build in public. So yeah, feel free to share your details, man.
Yeah, I build in public mostly on Instagram. It's the same name that's like in the
Yeah, yeah.
on the screen, just with a dot between Patrick and
Mhm.
Mazurek. And then on LinkedIn as well. I'll create some content on there periodically. But honestly, on the name in the name of exponential focus right now, it's like I am not even optimizing for content creation.
Yep.
Want every hour of my day to go towards figuring out the biggest bottleneck in my business, which is like, how do I get clients for my clients? Like, how do I
Yeah.
just fill their calendars with appointments using the skill set that I have, which is email marketing? And so it's just like, what emails do we need to write? What do we need to send to get buddies, to get people onto a call? That's what I'm optimizing for. And so if you want to follow along, what I will eventually be sharing about is copywriting, like how to write to make your business sound great, and just little tactics that you can use to make sure people actually read your messages, take action at the end of the messages. And I'm all about personal well-being as well, and like how to work 12-hour days without getting burned out and actually enjoying it. And so, yeah, like I think it's a huge cheat code when, as an entrepreneur, you can be happy at the same time as being
Oh
successful.
yeah.
Don't
Yeah,
need to
yeah.
like I still, this is actually, here's ultimately like what I would say that I'm great at is like this entire time building the business, as evidenced by my whoop, I did not have a single day in high stress. I had pretty much
Amazing.
like yellow and green recovery scores every single day throughout the entire phase of building my business, even working late nights. Like I still found a way to optimize for like the things that make me feel good. And so it's like that entire phase of not making any money and like trying to figure things out and like, am I gonna pay my next rent check? Okay, we got it done. That whole time, it's like my nervous system was calm, my sleeps were good, and that's what I'm really great at is like how to keep a level head in chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Killer stuff, man. Killer stuff. So yeah, this was an amazing interview. To everyone watching this, I'm gonna label this as part one. Hopefully, hopefully, Patrick has enough time for me for part two, and he's gonna disappear now for another couple of months, and I'm
Yep.
gonna pop up at school. So yeah, keep an eye out for part two. It's gonna be a good one, and yeah, hope you guys found this one valuable. And for everyone watching this right now. I'm going to put Patrick's details in the YouTube description for his Instagram and LinkedIn, so check that out. And Patrick, we'll touch base after we end this recording as well. But yeah, hopefully you found this interview valuable. Keep an eye out for part two. And I'm going to do my famous outro right now. If you are someone that's come across the program, you're watching these interviews, and you're after a get rich quick scheme where you can jump into the program and within 7 days you're making 15K a month like Patrick is, you can do whatever you please. And I think you said, Patrick, you had the urge to go on the beach, but you didn't to have whatever drink. If you want that stuff and you've been fooled by those Instagram ads where they promise you Rolexes and rented cars in 7 day windows, this program is not for you. I'm going to stop you right there. It's not a get rich quick scheme. Um, this is a program that requires you to take work, to do work and take action, just like Patrick did. So if you do want a magic pill that will give you instantaneous success, this is not it. If you do find that magic pill, please find me and send it my way because I'll purchase it myself and Patrick as well. So yeah, on a more serious note, if you're watching this right now and you're willing to put in the work, just like Patrick has, and bear in mind, Patrick did still achieve amazing results in such a short space of time, but he himself will tell you the amount of graft that he had to put in when he first started a business, as well as the experience he came. before even starting a business from an agency background. It requires work, it requires taking action, and it requires moving forward. And if you're willing to actually do that and follow a proven framework, then we could potentially help you out. So feel free to book a call with us. If there's some hesitations around booking a call, this is actually the 98th client interview, I believe. So we've got 97 others, so check them out if you need further reassurance. And yeah, check out what we have. But yeah, hopefully you guys found this one valuable, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye, guys. Cheers.